Welcome back. Former President Trump is set to address the New York Economic Club tomorrow, while Vice President Kamala Harris is set to release more of her economic policy later today during a speech in New Hampshire. All of this coming ahead of the ABC presidential debate next week, September 10th. Harris campaign officials say that she's going to propose expanding the startup expense deduction for the small business community from $5,000 to $50,000. She will also announce a goal of 25 million new small business applications in her first term, should she be elected. Joining me now is Wall Street Journal Main Street columnist, Fox News contributor, and former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush, Bill McGurn, back with us. Bill, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you.
What is your assessment of this race right now?
Well, like everyone else, I've been following all the polls. They're all within the margin of error. We know it's going to come down to the battleground states, and it's going to be tight. So I think that the polls, Kamala Harris has done well, rising in the polls. The real opportunity for Donald Trump to combat that, to stop her, is a debate. Clearly, the press won't ask her tough questions, or follow-ups. He's going to have to do it himself. It's tricky. He has to be aggressive, toward her in the debate, but not personal. And if he does that, I think, and can show, how incoherent her plan is, I think he'll do well. Yeah, great analysis. I know you've got a new op-ed out in the Journal titled Kamala Harris McJob. Is there a place for McDonald's in the vice president's opportunity economy? Tell us more. Well, I find that part attractive. I worked at McDonald's too, like Kamala Harris, and the second gentleman, Doug Inhofe, he also worked at McDonald's. It's a great place to start. I wish you would talk about the opportunity that McDonald's provide for millions of people. 1 out of 8 Americans say they got to start at McDonald's. And what it teaches, it introduces young people and people maybe with low skills or no education or little education or bad education, gives them the skills. And by that, I mean not the skills to work a French fryer, as Kamala Harris says, but the skills about showing up on time, being neat, being courteous to customers, attentive to what your boss wants. Those are the important skills for employers. They can teach anyone how to cook a burger or something. They need the other soft skills to produce reliable, productive workers.
Yeah, it's a great point, and certainly we talk about that first job being so important. But Kamala Harris has been talking about raising the minimum wage. I mean, what's the debate? Where are you on the debate in terms of what a minimum wage should be? Isn't a job at McDonald's something that, is going to give you those, those lessons that you just went through, but not necessarily doing it at high levels in terms of your paycheck?
Exactly. When Kamala Harris talks about McDonald's, it seems to be just another example of a big American company not paying its workers enough, probably not paying its fair share of taxes, according to her.
Exactly.
And she should look at the people that focus on raising the minimum wage. 2 things. First, they assume that people are raising a family on that. Very few minimum wage earners are the sole providers for their family. And so that's not really a contention. Second, you make labor too costly, people lose jobs.
That's right.
At the bottom. I think getting on the first rung of the ladder of opportunity is far more important than how much you make.
Well, look,
and that's what.
This creating divisions and divisiveness in the country was on full display the other day. When Kamala Harris was in Detroit, she's getting slammed for allegedly faking this accent while speaking to the teachers union members in Detroit. Listen to how she sounded at that campaign event in Detroit compared to the same comments to a speech at union workers in Pittsburgh just hours later. It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Watch.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation
don't know what to say about that, Bill. Your reaction to that accent, what was that?
Well, I know that when I think Peter Doocy asked Karine Jean-Pierre, she claimed to not know what he's talking about. I mean,
yeah, let's
everyone
run
in
that
America
because he's
this.
senior Fox News White House correspondent grilling the White House on it. Here's that clip. Watch.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a Southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is...
she was talking about unions in Detroit.
I'm not even going to entertain some question about the president. It's just hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Well, certainly hearing that accent sounded ridiculous. It's not the first time Harris has been accused of faking an accent. Just last month, she was accused of using a Southern accent during an Atlanta rally, Bill. What's this about? It's unnerving.
I don't know. There's something about Democrats that cause them to put on these accents. I think Karine Jean-Pierre gave the best answer possible, pretending not to have any idea what they were talking about. Look, I think it could backfire in the sense that a lot of people question Kamala Harris's authenticity. She's repudiated so many of the policies that she once stood for. Actually, she hasn't even done it herself. Spokesmen have done it. So people want to know, who is this woman running for president? And when you do something like that, I think you become, the worst thing is to become a joke in politics.
Yeah, I mean,
you can survive being thought bad, but being thought a joke is deadly.
It is about authenticity, isn't it, ladies? Whether or not she's, were you lying now or are you lying then?
Well, and people aren't falling for it. I think that's what we're going to start seeing in polls. As she opens her mouth, we are not falling for her garbage.
Well, which is why they keep her silent.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's, and will that work?
Yeah.
Bill, great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, Bill McGurn joining us.